I'm Will from Ken's Sewing Center. Today I'm going to talk to you about the Bernina Q16 sit-down quilting machine. This machine is going to have 16 inches of space from the back of the throat to the needle. It's also available in a 20-inch option if you need a little bit more space than that. Now there are going to be three things that really separate this Bernina 16-inch sit-down quilter from all the other sit-down quilters on the market today. The first thing being the needle. Pretty much every other brand of sit-down quilter right now takes a round shank industrial needle. They're very tough needles, nothing wrong with them, but with a round shank needle, sometimes it's hard to get them in perfectly straight. If you don't get it in straight, it can cause skip stitches, thread breakages, all sorts of problems like that. These Bernina Longarm machines use a universal sewing needle, the same sewing needle that your machine at home right now uses. Advantage to that, you get it in perfectly straight every single time. It's going to cut down on thread breaks, skip stitches, and since the needle can go in straight every single time, it allowed Bernina to put an automatic needle threader on their machine. That's not something you're going to get on any other sit-down quilter right now. The second thing that's really going to set this machine apart is going to be the tension and the threading system. You'll notice there's no tension knob on this machine. Everything is controlled digitally, and you can get to it with the touch of a button. Also, the threading system is completely enclosed inside the machine. What that's going to help with is it's just a smoother path for the thread to travel through, it's going to snag less, and in turn, you're going to get a lot less broken threads. And the third thing that's really going to set the Bernina machines apart from the other sit-down quilters out there is going to be that all the Bernina long arms are stitch regulated. Stitch regulation isn't really going to be uncommon for quilting machines that are set up on a frame, but it is going to be a unique feature for one in a sit-down machine. The way the stitch regulation works is through these two optical encoders right here on the plate. Little lasers that actually sense how fast your fabric is moving, regulates the speed on the machine so that the machine keeps up with you instead of you having to keep up with the machine. So before we start sewing, I'll go ahead and show you how easy this needle threader is to work. Just like that, and we're ready to start quilting. Now, since this machine is stitch regulated, we're going to have 4 different sewing modes. Right here is our first mode. This is going to be a cruise mode. Now, it is going to be regulated, so as I move faster, it'll move faster. And if I slow down, it slows down. But in this mode, if I come to a stop, see how it still has a little bit of an idle speed. That's something that's really going to help you out when you're doing micro stippling or if you're trying to get real sharp points on something, it'll help it from rounding off. The second stitch regulation mode is the one you'll be in probably 90% of the time. I've got it set for 10 stitches per inch. I can set it all the way up to 24 stitches an inch or all the way down to 1 stitch per inch. But we'll just go ahead and leave it on 10 for right now. In this mode, if I speed up, it'll speed up. As I slow down, it slows down. But if I come to a complete stop in this mode, so does the machine. Third stitch mode is going to be the basting mode. You'll have 3 different options in this one to where you can either stitch a 1/4 inch stitch, a 1/2 inch stitch, or a full inch stitch. So the third stitch mode is going to be the basting stitch. In this one, you can either do a 1/4 inch, a 1/2 inch, or a full inch stitch. We'll go ahead and do a 1/4 inch here. And the last stitch mode is going to be the manual. That's going to completely turn off your stitch regulator and the machine will just run at one constant speed. You'll use that mainly if you're doing thread painting or any kind of real decorative quilting work. Now, this machine is going to have a low bobbin alarm on it. What you do is whenever you wind a bobbin on the built-in bobbin winder here on the side of the machine, every time you put a new bobbin in, you can come in, tell the machine that this bobbin is 100% full, and then the machine will actually count the stitches that you're doing, and when it gets down to about 10% full on the bobbin, it'll give you an alarm and let you know you're going to be running out pretty soon. Another great thing about the Bernina long arms is going to be the quality checks that they go through. These are made at their factory in Switzerland. There's one person that actually builds every head of this machine from start to finish. and they actually make them sign each machine so you know who built it for you. After the machines are done being built, they get sewn off for a quality check. They get sewn off a second time before they leave the factory in Switzerland, and then they get sewn off and quality checked a third time once they actually come into the U.S. So when you get a Bernina machine, you kind of have the confidence, you know you're not going to have any issues right out of the box because it's already been checked 3 times before it ever even makes it to you. If you call Ken's, we do have a great deal on this machine in this table. Let me show you a little bit about this table. This is going to be great for anyone who doesn't have the space in their house to keep it set up all the time. This table will actually fold down. And we can also fold those legs in where the entire thing only becomes less than a foot wide. So you could put it in a corner, put it up against the wall, get it out of the way whenever you're not using it. And just like anything else that you buy from Ken's, whenever you get a product from us, you have access to our repair team. We can help you out with any issues you might experience over the phone. We have 4 factory trained technicians on staff at all times. We're only a phone call away if you ever need help from us.